Detroit Sports Network, home for your Michigan sports.
Welcome to Detroit Sports Network. I'm your host, Tee Sims, and I'm here with
BJ Baldwin.
Brandon, BJ Baldwin Johnson. All the names. Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Joining us at Detroit Sports Network. This week is going to be fun. We highlight somebody who's giving back to the community. So same thing we want to do. We want to focus on our youth, high school, semi-pro, anything going on with Detroit and Michigan sports. So again, thanks for coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
One of the reasons BJ, Brandon Johnson, is here is to highlight his business.
For sure.
What's the name of your business?
So the business is called the Receiver Academy. This is something that I've been working on for a long period of time. But I wanted it to be more of like a mentoring thing, but then it ended up turning into something where we started working with all types of receivers around the city. And what it really is just basically just more intricate, more in detail type training for receivers in the city of Detroit that they wouldn't get outside of the city basically.
I seen one of the practice. Y'all had some good drills going on. Give me any kid name who out there playing right now who may be doing kind of good who went to your receiver school.
Oh yeah, so we got Jason Hardy, who's at Loyola High School right now. He's one of my top recruits. Working with him has been a pleasure. Also got young Trey Lonson Trimble, a big kid, working on his feet, but his feet have gotten tremendously better throughout the time we've been working through the summer. And then one of the guys I've been working with is in college right now. His name is Baldwin. He's from the city. He's at Jackson State right now. I play with Dion. He about to be the next up.
Okay.
He about to be the next up. So Baldwin, remember that name.
Give us what number does David wear?
Right now, well, at the time he was wearing 5, but I don't know what he's gonna change it to.
Okay, the young kid from Loyola, what number does he wear?
So Jason went number 1.
I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty good.
Lonzy played. He went number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 and 2. All right.
Yeah.
So if y'all got some kids out there, you want to send to BJ some receivers. I seen you got some film we'll show. BJ can show you some film.
Oh, for sure. Not to mention too, we got a little Jerry Tucker out there in Saginaw Valley, and then I got a little cousin, Nigel Payne too, who's at Davenport right now that works with us too.
Okay. So how can they get in contact with you if they wanted to sign their kids up?
So the best way to contact me is probably through social media. Right now it's through Facebook. That's the best way you can probably reach me out with your inbox or anything else that you can think of. And then also I got my information on my flyer that I put out on social media too. So when you see that flyer, my phone number's on there. Shoot me a text, whatever it may be. Give me a call. And we can go from there. I got some kids from King too. I got a couple kids from King that I've been working with. So I got a couple guys from King, a couple guys from Loyola. But yeah, that's the best way to reach me out.
How many kids in the network?
So right now, I say roughly like 7 to 8.
7 to 8.
Yeah, 7 to 8 in the network. And then not to mention the college kids, I've been working with. So I don't really like I don't know the regulations and all that.
Right. What's the youngest they can come to you, and what's the oldest?
So yeah, the youngest is starting in 9th grade, so was that 13, 14, and then on up. So it's starting at 13 and then on up, so I can work with anybody from 13 and up.
Okay. Now I jumped right in and asked you about your business, but now I want to touch on why should you send your kid to BJ, and by that it's going to explain from your history.
Yeah.
Where did you start off playing?
So I started off playing with the Cubs, right? I'm a Cub.
Cub?
Yeah.
It seems like everybody I've interviewed has been a Cub.
Real
Race? All of them. Everybody I interviewed.
Legendary Cubs.
Legendary. So you got championships?
I got 3 championships.
What level?
I got 1 on the B team. No, I got 1 on the C team, 1 on the B team, 1 on the A team.
Oh, every level.
Every level, yeah.
Man, champion, right? All the two Cubs are champion. Which y'all was cheating.
Never was cheating, we just knew how to do stuff.
I seen somebody drive home from the B team back one time.
Yeah, he probably was old enough.
Okay.
I'm talking to Jack. No.
So after the Cubs, what high school did you go
So
to?
after the Cubs went on to Loyola, man. Loyola High School off of Finkel Pines, all boys school over there. Went there, thrived there. Ended up playing all positions at Loyola just because we needed all that support. So I ended up playing all positions. Left from Loyola, went to Grand Rapids Community Colleges. There was the only community college in the state that had a football team. So went there, and then after Grand Rapids Community College, I had to come home, man, because I did everything but college at Grand Rapids. So had to come home, man. But that ties in a little bit to what the program is.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. So I met BJ in 2009. That was 11 years ago, and I didn't watch BJ go from a young man to a man, a well-polished man now. So all types of mentoring and everything you're going to get, sending your kid. You're not just sending your kid to somebody who know how to play football. You're sending your kid to somebody who actually been through and failed, like you said at the GRCC, came back. And tell us about how did you find yourself back into school?
So it was tough. I mean, it was tough. So semi-pro world, was a good avenue for myself at the time, playing with greats like yourself, Cornelius Burton, late great Cornelius Burton, Dante Barnes, Wyatt Jones. So playing with guys like y'all kind of like springboarded me up to a whole other level because I treated it differently. Because that's what semi-pro is about. It's about how you treat it. So I came in with the mentality to get back into school, and from that on, I think you guys noticed it, and Corn reached out, Dante reached out. Dante had a few schools that he had a couple clubs at. Reached out to him, and then I ended up getting 3 schools in Ohio that was interested. And went to Notre Dame for a visit, and it was all she wrote after that. So
shout out to the big bros.
Yeah, shout out to the big bros. Got to.
Yeah. We notice a lot of times you got the good kids. Nowadays, well, you always have those kids that the best kid for the team. He's good. They got that attitude. Right. When you got a kid who's talented and the hardest worker on the team, that's when you know you got something special.
Yeah.
So where did you get that from? Because ever since you came from the Ravens, you was #1 in every drill, running hard.
It really started, I'd say, it started just with that hunger not having it no more. So when I got back from Grand Rapids, I kind of took advantage of it when I was there. So when I lost it all, I'm like, I'll be damned if I lose it again. So ended up like turning it on. Just eating, turning it on, and then it's all she wrote after that.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that hard work, we noticed it, and Big Bros, Dante Corn, White, like I said, everybody, you got good guys in your corner, and got you to school. And a lot of times people see semi-pro and they kind of semi-pro because they might see the downside of semi-pro. Right. People on the sideline acting crazy. But here we are, somebody who went to semi-pro, used that to propel to college. Right. So did you get your degree?
Ended up getting my degree, man. Went to Notre Dame College down in Ohio. Went there for 4 years. Did all the great things on the field, man. Was all conference, all region. All region. All-dimension, All-American. Did all the good things in college, man. And then had a pro day. Worked out for all 32. Talked to a few, man. But at the end of the day, ended up getting an opportunity to really just showcase who I was. That's what I really look at it as. I showcased who I was, displayed who I was, didn't get the opportunity that I wanted and dreamed about, but now I got the opportunity to get back to that. Yeah, get back to
that's what it's all about, getting back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So tell us about a memorable moment in college.
Man, my birthday, senior year, October 1st, I'll never forget. We went down to Glenfield College in West Virginia. Was in the dog fight my senior year. We was in the dog fight. Last play, it was like 4 seconds on the clock. Last play, they called Hail Mary. Our quarterback was a scrambler. He running around there trying to figure out how to let it go. He ended up letting it go about 45, 50 yards away. Ended up seeing the ball. I was always taught highest point, no matter what. And then I was always a tip guy because I was always, I could jump everybody. So I was a tip guy at first, but that ball in there, I ain't about to take nothing. I'm going to go get it. So
you got that play on film?
Got that play on film.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
All right. So that wasn't the first time you had a game winner out there. It was a semi-pro where you played for the Ravens. Had a play into the game. It wasn't the last seconds, but late fourth quarter, Wolverines was up on us. Tell us about what happened with that play.
Yeah, so this clutch factor, I don't know where I got it. Yeah, I don't know where I got it from, but it is what it is. So I ended up developing that. But it was last play of our series. We needed somebody to go to. Mike had already talked about us doing this double move, this hit and go. Looked at me, I looked at him. just throw it up there, I go get it, save my boy, do what I need to do for the squad. But it's just something that I've been always doing. I ain't never shy away from the pressure situations. So I always wanted to put on for the bros because they always put on for me. So,
For sure. I want to touch about some of these situations because when you first came to the Ravens, like I said, you was athletic, you was hard worker. But as we saw you develop when you went to college, you came back, you began to be a technician and actually learn the receiver position. So to see you develop like that was good. Now I know that you're getting back to them kids, teaching them. So let's talk about the Ravens a little bit more, and then we'll go back into wide receiver academy. You played in 2009, so you went off to college. You came back and played just this past season in 2019. Tell us, what was your best stat year for the Ravens? Tell us some awards or accolades you did for the Detroit Ravens.
So I was Rookie of the Year my first year. Remember getting that? Well, really no play. Yeah, really no play. But I remember everybody talking about it. Then ended up getting some MVPs, offensive MVPs, league MVPs. 2010. I'll say my best stat year probably was 2010. I had about 70-something catches for about 1,500, about 18 TDs. Yeah, that's probably my best stat year. But my best year probably was 2012, just because of everything that ended up happening. We ended up being undefeated, going on like a best streak probably in history. Probably the best team I ever played on. So best that year don't even compare to the best year I probably had on the Ravens, which was 2012.
17-0.
Yeah.
National champion.
Yeah.
GMFL champion.
Yeah.
That was a good year. Year.
It was a crazy year. That was probably my best year ever.
Okay. All right. So from going from semi-pro to college, tell us what was a difference? What stood out?
So the difference I say just from that is I had already developed the prep just from working with y'all. Knew how to prepare for practice, knew how to come in with the game plan. But I'll say just sitting in the meetings, studying the game a little bit more, like we talked about a little earlier, learning the ins and outs, the small details about the position, in and out of your cuts, all that good stuff. So I'll say that was probably the most little hurdle I probably had in just learning how to be a technician at that time, because I was all going off of athletic ability.
Okay.
So transitioning into a technician probably was the most hurdle, but game speed was the same. Reading and knowing coverages, that was something I just always knew. So, but just learning the small details probably was the most challenging.
Right.
And it ended up being my best attributes.
That's crazy. Division 2, right?
Yeah, Division 2 ball.
Anybody from your team go to the NFL?
We had a couple guys get that look. My boy Claudia Matthew, DN, played for the Dolphins all preseason. My right-hand man is my homeboy CJ Germany, who was with the Giants all through preseason. And then my guy Mitch Chigo's got the opportunity to work out with the Browns. So we've had a few of them. Young dog I've been working with. My guy was one of my roommates when I was a senior, Marvell Ross. I was with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, that was Speedsy.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we came to see you. We had 2 touchdowns that game.
Something slight.
Okay. So you're a receiver, you're a technician. What's something that separates a good receiver from a great receiver? Something that you might be able to teach these kids?
That's a great question. I say the most important thing to look at is just recognizing coverages. I think a lot of young individuals don't know what that really is until they get into that moment. But once you start to figure out the game, that comes with studying. So studying the game a little bit better, I say that's probably the most important thing. And then everybody can run, everybody can jump, everybody can catch. It all comes down to how you study the game, how you look at it. So if you know how to read the coverages, man, you'll separate yourself from a lot of people.
Okay. So that's important. Like you say, the next phase is of the game, or next phase is being a receiver, not just running and catching the ball.
Yeah.
I saw you on the Zoom meeting teaching them about coverages.
Yeah. So with the business, with the receiver academy, man, like I try to touch in on a lot of different things that they're not getting right now. So talking about having to sit down, talking about where the safety is located, where the linebackers are located, the alley men, where that may be. If a guy that's standing up in front of your corners looking at you, 10 times out of 10, he's in man. If he's looking at the quarterback, 10 times out of 10, he's in coverage. Cover 2, cover 3. So that type of stuff is something that you're going to get on the regular. And then that's the type of stuff that I didn't get when I was a kid either. You know what I'm saying? So hearing it from me and then giving it to them when they in their early years learning about it, they can adjust to it a little bit more better too, because I didn't get a feel for it.
What do you think you learned most of the nuances of football? What made you a smarter football player? What level or what coach? This might be a time we can get in shot.
Yeah, so I think during high school it was different because I was just playing ball. I felt like I was just playing ball. And once I stepped on, to be honest, semi-pro, I stepped into that world just seeing how fast everybody was moving. And then being on a great team like the Ravens, we actually went at it, man. We actually went at it in practice. I had to figure out gaps and where to sit at, where to learn, where not to go, where to go. If a guy following me, he in bed. If a guy just sitting there, it's in the zone, so I can find something spot to sit at. So I'll say probably my best experience with the game is probably just being around the Ravens and learning about the nitty gritty stuff of football. Right. And then once I stepped into that college aspect, I most definitely had that nitty gritty side, and then learning how to polish that up a little bit. So working with Coach Mike Jacobs, he was our our defensive coordinator, and then Mickey Mennel, who's the head coach now at Notre Dame College. Learning to sit down with him and having those chalk talk moments with him was probably some of the best things. But then also, I had good peers, man. So the dudes that I hung around, we would go out and we'd do all the studying that we need to do right then and there. In and out of practices, outside of the game, in the room, talking about it, outside, playing around with it. So it was just being around the right people at the time too.
That's what's up. There's a guy who went all conference in college, played a lot of ball, and the Ravens helped. For sure. That's a big statement for the Ravens.
For sure.
So with that being said, talk about your experiences, your college, semi-pro, who was a champion for the Cubs, played in Loyola, shout out to Loyola, they've been doing good for the last couple of years, kicking butt in their division. Give me the best 2 players you played against, any level.
Any level? I'll say that's tough. That's real tough. Because I know I'm probably on the list of the best players. But no, I'll say growing up playing against Deontay Allen.
Okay.
That was like the person to watch back then. Growing up watching him, seeing how he
Cougar, right?
Cougar. Ended up coming to the Cubs with the Orchard Lake.
Right?
Yeah, watching him growing up was like watching superstar for sure. Deontay Allen.
Okay.
And I say, you got a lot, man. I got a lot of people like Magics, Gracies. But playing against probably was, I can't narrow it down.
Give me a tough corner. You play receiver.
Tough corner.
Lined up in front of you. You was like, I got my hands full.
It was a guy out there at Fairmont State.
Okay.
My freshman year. There's a guy out there at Fairmont State. Ended up, you know what? I forgot. He was at Shepherd. He played for the Eagles now.
Okay.
Shepherd University.
Okay.
He was a safety. Boy was a problem.
Hitter or cover guy?
Well, he was a problem.
Okay.
He was a problem. we had him on the stat. We had him on the scout sheet. Man, he was a problem. So,
okay. All right. And you play receiver.
Yep.
You got receiver academy, so I gotta know the top 2 receivers. Either you play with or against, or just anywhere. Give me 2 receivers you want to highlight.
2 receivers that I probably ever played with
Or against.
I'm gonna go with my boy Bo Banner.
Crafty Vic.
Gotta go with my boy
Crafty Vic.
Just because I always up the coverage and boy always did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
That next guy is a sleeper, man. He went to Grand Rapids Community College, did some things professionally.
I'd say Didi Hart. Didi Hart,
Didi Hart.
Didi, one of the most underrated receivers ever. Didi's very good.
Yeah. Ever, man. So yeah, those 2 are kind of like my top 2 teammates and playing with. Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay. So we want to leave. We always leave in Detroit Sports Network. You have a kid right now, a high school kid, maybe watching this. What's a message? What's something you think you can do to that kid? That may benefit him in life. Something you can tell these kids. What message do you want to drop?
I say treat the game like you treat life. The game is life, to be honest. So coming in there with a great mentality, knowing that this is maybe your last play, last little get-go, whatever it may be, taking advantage of that, and then understanding the small details. So if I go to work and I tap in on all the small things that I need to do, I'm most definitely going to be better at whatever job I'm going to have. And that's the same way I would want you to treat the position. If I learn any ins and outs about getting out of my breaks, what releases to use at this time, where the safety's at, where the corner's looking at, if I learn all those small details, I'll be a better receiver at the end of the day.
So you can hear it all in everything he talked about. He's not just a run and throw me the ball receiver. He talked about the little things, the ins and outs of the position. So wide receiver academy. And I'll say, I've played football for a long time. There was some NFL guys on my high school, my college, and semi-pro. I played against a lot of guys. This is one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver I've seen that just got everything. From blocking, route running, going up top, catching the screen and taking it to the house. So, Brandon Johnson, thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Wide Receiver Academy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Detroit Sports Network.
Detroit Sports Network, home for your Michigan sports.